A reminder to members according to our House rules. This motion debate has to end by 12:02 today. At around 11:30, I will ask the mover to speak on the amendments, and then we deal with the rest of the debate. Dr. Lo Wai-kwok. President, I thank Mr. Eric Yim for his motion and the amendments from two members. Hong Kong is a center of international trade and professional services. We offer a free and level playing field. We attract firms from the mainland and overseas to compete, and then we achieved an economic miracle. Since our return to Chinese rule, Chinese firms have played a key role and they have grown in influence. In 2022, for China capital firms in Hong Kong, along with subsidiaries, they number more than 4,000 in total. Their businesses range from commerce, finance, telecoms, technology, and other aspects. These firms are playing a growing role in people's daily lives. During COVID-19, many China capital firms helped out in the support measures from the central authorities. They helped ensure the supply of daily necessities. They helped build our community isolation facilities, and also chose not to lay off staff as they helped fight COVID together. China Resources worked through the BPA and donated anti-COVID supplies worth $150,000. That shows their care for their fellow compatriots. I am deeply grateful to them. Many China capital firms have huge resources. They operate across the boundary. So the BPA believes the government should take proactive measures in bringing in more China capital firms so that they can help improve our economy and people's lives. And this can also help Hong Kong better integrate our country's development and take part in Belt and Road development. First, the government should encourage China capital firms to take part in local economic development, such as the Northern Metropolis, which will be our future source of growth. And this will be a major source of housing as well. The Northern Metropolis will be about an industry-driven and infrastructure-led approach. This will be a tech hub. There will be diverse industrial development. China capital firms should be encouraged to take part in the Northern Metropolis development so that we can speed up the production of land and housing and have all kinds of plans work in terms of the boundary economic belt and ecotourism. We should bring in more sizable China capital firms. As of December this year, the office was attracting strategic enterprises, managed to secure roughly 30 firms to come to Hong Kong. The first batch, around 20 of them, have signed deals with us. Many of them are industry leaders from the mainland, Huawei, Lenovo, Meituan. That's an encouraging sign, but the government should go further in attracting firms. Some China concept stocks are looking to come back to China. We should offer targeted facilitation measures for them. We should talk to the mainland to encourage those firms to come to Hong Kong for listing so that we can scale up and beef up our stock market. We should encourage more large-scale SOEs to come here to support our headquarters economy. The government should encourage China capital firms to choose Hong Kong as a premier location for going global and help Hong Kong take part in the Belt and Road Initiative. We have a well-established trade network. We also provide financial, legal, accounting services. We can help mainland firms go global so that these firms can operate according to local laws overseas. Local firms should team up with mainland firms in going global. There are overseas collaboration along Belt and Road. These collaborations can help set up supply chains so that we can achieve win-win outcomes. I so submit.
Dr. Priscilla Leung. President, in 2021, we had a debate on improving our electoral system. And I strongly supported the addition of one more functional constituency to LegCo, and that is China Enterprises, because China Capital Enterprises is a reliable defender and contractor, connector, and facilitator. I like to explain why I'm all for adding this FC in LegCo. This week, I had the opportunity to explain the changes of the China Constitution over the years. In 2018, we added one important amendment to the Constitution. We should support and protect our ecology. Our country must be among the very few who advocates protection of the ecology. Now, because of the Constitution, we have one country, two systems, and we can continue to have the capitalist system in operation in Hong Kong. The China Capital Enterprises fully understand the opportunities available. Now, if we consider the amendment to the Constitution in 1988 allowing property transactions. Since then, the property market in the mainland took flight. That offers tremendous business opportunities. If Hong Kong enterprises and China Capital Enterprises collaborate, then we can fulfill the 4 musts and 4 expectations put to us by President Xi last July. Now, for the past 26 years, China Capital Enterprises were suppressed before the handover. Is just like what happened to patriotic forces in Hong Kong. China Capital Enterprises took funds to come to Hong Kong, and they also have taken funds to go global together with our local enterprises. In 2014, 2019, all directly elected legislators must be grateful to the volunteers sent by China capital firms to help us in electioneering work and in community work. We benefited from volunteers from China Capital Enterprises for maintaining social stability. Now, Mr. Shanghai Long, the chairman of the top talents from Shanghai Association, they have assisted me. Now, I am one country, two system family. My husband was among the early talents who came to Hong Kong years ago. This is about how the 8 million people in Hong Kong integrate with the 1.4 billion people in the mainland. Central capital enterprises have an important role to play in this regard. And for telling good stories of one country, two systems, we really rely on China Capital Enterprises and cross-boundary families to tell good stories of Hong Kong. In 2019, you could be beaten up as soon as you spoke in Pui-leung, and that really hurt the feelings of our people. China Capital Enterprises can tell good stories of Hong Kong in the mainland and good stories of China when overseas. As for the environment and the ecology, recently I met many big enterprises engaged in new energy, thinking of coming to Hong Kong. They want to make a profit, but at the same time, they're thinking of how they can protect the ecology of Hong Kong. Under the leadership of President Xi, we have excelled in protecting the ecology and environment. I hope they can take roots in Hong Kong in the coming century. They can, together with Hong Kong enterprises, go global. Thank you. Mr. Pui-leung, I support the motion as well as the amendments. I think we should do some revision regarding the advantages granted to British companies in Hong Kong before the handover, so that we know the role and responsibility of China Capital Enterprises in Hong Kong after the handover. Before the handover, as we all know, there were plenty of favorable treatment for British companies. In the 1970s, before the mid-1970s, all government supplies were procured by the British government on behalf of Hong Kong, and then the Hong Kong colonial government bought those supplies from the British companies again. So for each step of the procurement process, there was commissions, and then eventually it was Hong Kong taxpayers who foot the bill to benefit British enterprises. So in the early 1970s, the then governor gave a booklet to the British commercial community, talk about the benefits Hong Kong could bring to the UK, whether we're talking about town gas, cross-harbour tunnel, cable car, trams, ferries, telecommunications. Before 1997, they were fully controlled by British companies. They monopolized the market. Because they monopolized our daily necessities, we have been using British standards and specifications. And back then, the financial secretary was the president of the Swire Group. So there was really collusion between the government and the business sector. Now, if we use the standards adopted before the handover to review what's happening here, now we are not even giving our China Capital Enterprises equal treatment, not to mention favorable treatment. Now, in the past, British companies got extra scores in government tendering exercises. Now, because they had previous experience, they enjoy advantages in tendering exercises after the handover. For China Capital Enterprises, they did not have any prior experience, so they stand to lose in tendering exercise now. So you can imagine the chance of winning a bid is jeopardized because of previous treatment before the handover. But our China Capital Enterprises are highly competitive. They don't need any favorable treatment. Using their own capability, they are able to win in tendering exercise. Still, the government needs to address the unfair situation, and we should offer a level playing field for China Capital Enterprises. The government should take the initiative to help China Capital Enterprises to develop better so that they can play a bigger role. So in procurement of services, the government should give favorable treatment to these enterprises. Lastly, in appointing public officers and handing out awards, the government should give more consideration to the contribution made by China Capital Enterprises to encourage them to be more involved in charitable causes in Hong Kong so that they can make money here and serve the community as well. Thank you. Mr. Chen Yong. I thank Mr. Yim Kong for this motion on giving full play to the role of China capital enterprises to promote Hong Kong's integration into the overall development of the country. I support the amendments as well. So China capital enterprises mean mainly firms incorporated in and listed in Hong Kong using China capital. They are here to defend national interests and the interests of Hong Kong. Now, China capital enterprises are the vanguard of the business community, and many of the names are familiar to all, such as the China Resources and the Bank of Communications, and also CTS and CMG, etc. Many colleagues here are representatives from these companies. They are here to help Hong Kong to realize the full expectations presidency has for us and to help the governance of this administration. We have many volunteer teams from these enterprises. They are deeply involved and they have won acclaim from the community in their participation. And whenever there is need for them in Hong Kong, for instance, we're able to build the mobile capital, the mobile hospitals for COVID with the help of the enterprises. We have these enterprises to come out at critical junctures. In the 1960s, when we had water shortage, Premium Zhao Enloi asked for water supply from Dongjiang to Hong Kong. And when there was swine flu in Hong Kong, the country transported live pigs to Hong Kong. And we've also got supplies of food produce from the mainland. During the 2019 Black Cloud violence, it was China capital enterprises that were hardest hit. Their premises were damaged and also vandalized, so we must be grateful to these enterprises. So at critical juncture and for critical infrastructure such as the Northern Metropolis, we look to China capital enterprises to play a bigger role. They are not just here to do business. Now, at all times, even when we had to fight speculators in the financial market, China capital enterprises were here to help. Now, I'd like to speak in Putonghua to express our gratitude. We're very grateful to SOEs and central enterprises and China capital enterprises for their support to Hong Kong over the years. They have contributed to our economy and social development. We hope that in the coming years under the leadership of presidency, we can fulfill the full expectations and we can be better integrated into the overall development of the country, and then we can benefit from the country's development as well. Thank you.
Ms. Chen Yueheng. Thank you, President. I support Mr. Yim Kong's motion and other amendments so that we can give a full play to the role of China capital enterprises in the development of Hong Kong and the country. Hong Kong is the premium fundraising platform for these enterprises. We have over 4,000 such firms registered in Hong Kong. They account for over 70% of the equity market. It shows that we could dovetail with the strategy of contributing to the country's need with Hong Kong's advantages, but whilst giving the platform for the China capital firms to expand the businesses here. As we enter into a new phase from stability to prosperity, we need to leverage the China capital enterprises. For China concept stocks listed in the U.S. to come for secondary listing in Hong Kong, we need the SFC, the banks, and the regulators' support. We also need land for them to recruit manpower and expand the business. Now, on Northern Metropolis, this will be the major initiative to promote economic development. In the action agenda, the government provides that in a large number of sites will be provided to support industrial development. It is proposed that next year it will be taken forward. Well, for this area, it has 3 BCPs. I think the government should leverage on the geographical advantages enjoyed by this area. For example, with the BCPs, for business facilitation measures, tax breaks can be offered so as to attract more SOEs and central enterprises to set up headquarters or offices in the Northern Metropolis. Apart from promoting headquarters economy, we can also promote boundary economy so that leveraging on each other's strengths, we can be better integrated into the overall development of the country. China capital enterprises also attach importance to the development of ESG policies. They are required to provide to give annual disclosure on ESG compliance. This will help enhance the sustainability of these enterprises. Now, we have had numerous examples of how they fulfill corporate social responsibilities. There are different events, seminars across the territory. They have been providing sponsorship. They have also resorted to different means during the COVID pandemic to ensure stable supply of livelihood items. They've also facilitated the COVID vaccination by providing venues, etc. In terms of maintaining law and order and stability in people's livelihood, they have played a very significant role. This is widely acknowledged. We should continue to leverage on their strength. China capital enterprises form an important part of our economy. The government should be more proactive in rolling out measures to help advise the enterprises on strategies in our economy. They also have a lot of experience. Now, the Hong Kong government should seek advice from the SACC so as to prepare and plan in advance. We should also consider the actual needs of Northern Metropolis and its positioning so that we can roll out a package of measures to attract China capital and foreign funded enterprises to invest in Hong Kong and establish our 8 positionings so as to enhance our long-term competitiveness and the sustainable development of our economy. Dr. So Chang-ming. President, China capital enterprises now take up a very important share in the global market. It is also an essential part of our economy. 30 top-notch enterprises have been invited to come to Hong Kong. 80% of them are China capital enterprises. There are 1,370 China capital listings in Hong Kong as of April. That's 53.3% of all listings, or 77.7% of total market capitalization. The capital markets in both places can complement each other's strengths to bolster Hong Kong's status as an international financial center. China capital firms contribute to the long-term prosperity and stability in Hong Kong as they take forward development here. For example, these enterprises have, on a long-term basis, provided 90% of fresh provisions, 70% of water supply, 70% of live poultry, 53% of staple food, and also 42% of petroleum and natural gas supplied to Hong Kong. And whenever emergency emerges, the firms have always stood at the front line. For example, in the 2008 financial crisis, when enterprises across the territory experienced layoffs and downsizing, the China Capital Enterprises stabilized the economy by promising not to lay off staff. 4,000 China capital firms echoed the government's or responded to the government's call to help out in COVID-19 pandemic. They mobilized 100,000 staff to be volunteers. 26 years on since Hong Kong's return to the motherland, China Capital Enterprises have firmly set foot in Hong Kong, and their contribution is beyond doubt. I find Mr. Yim Kong's motion very meaningful because of the significant role these enterprises play in people's livelihood. We need to be fully aware of their development in Hong Kong. In terms of strategies and positioning, what happens here in Hong Kong should be very different from their businesses on the mainland. That means the Hong Kong government should take proactive measures to ensure that the China capital enterprises as well as foreign-funded enterprises can thrive in Hong Kong so that they can have common prosperity, especially when there are many external headwinds. We need to leverage on our advantage of having the motherland support and being connected to the world. And as the Chinese economy embarks on the path of recovery, we should leverage on this opportunity so that we can be the facilitator in the dual circulation strategy. I'm of the view that the China capital firms should also give play to their unique characteristics and their clear positioning so that they can fulfill their role. First, they should continue to be a stabilizing force. Second, in terms of market mutual access, they form the basis of facilitation of market access. They should also help build people-to-people bonds. They can also play the role as a superconnector. They can also help bring in talents to support the Chinese modernization, as well as being the talent hub. The SAR government should give active support in the form of policy formulation so that the enterprises can fulfill these roles. I so submit. Last member to speak, Mr. Holden Chow. Thank you, President. China capital enterprises have made a lot of contributions to different sectors of economy. So far, 4,000 such enterprises have been registered in Hong Kong. Apart from the economic contribution, as mentioned by other members, they have also devoted resources to support the different fronts in the community. In particular, I'd like to give praise to their anti-epidemic relief efforts. They took swift actions to help build isolation facilities and so on and so forth. This is still fresh in our minds. It shows the commitment these enterprises have made in improving livelihood. Now, we should also have regard to their participation in the Belt and Road Initiative, apart from their contribution to Hong Kong. Around the world, there are construction projects modeled on the China Capital Enterprises approach. For example, MIC was first introduced by China Capital Construction Companies. MIC has become the prevalent construction method in Hong Kong as well. For China capital firms to go global and participate in the development of Belt and Road Initiative, we can play our role in being the connector. For example, earlier I visited Dubai, and it came to my attention that China capital banks and firms have actively set up their business in the area. So Hong Kong's strength lies in our connectivity with the world. So I think we have the role to play in supporting these enterprises to go global. At the same time, the government should encourage these enterprises to take part in the development of innovation technology as well as advanced manufacturing. Many members spoke on the Northern Metropolis. The government should actively encourage these enterprises to take part in the development of the Northern Metropolis. For new energy vehicles such as hydrogen fuel cell vehicles and hydrogen refueling facilities, this is developing leaps and bounds in the mainland. It is becoming a success. This is due to the technology developed by the China Capital Enterprises. We can introduce this technology to Hong Kong by attracting the China capital firms to come and set up a presence here. So I thank Mr. Yim Kong for the motion and the amendments. I strongly support the motion. The government should encourage more China capital enterprises to make contributions to our economic development. Mr. Yim Kong, you may now speak on the amendments. Thank you, President. First of all, I declare that I worked in one of the China Capital Enterprises. I thank Dr. Tan Yueheng and Mr. Pui-leung for putting forward amendments to my motion. I also thank the 40 members for the invaluable input to my original motion. There are keen aspirations to the role that China Capital Enterprises can play. Dr. Tan Yueheng mentioned the concerted efforts of Hong Kong invested China capital and foreign-funded enterprises to drive Hong Kong's development, and that the government should more actively encourage them to take part in livelihood projects and local major economic projects so that we can create strong impetus for the growth of Hong Kong, for them to take part in the Belt and Road Initiative, so that as we turn a new phase from stability to prosperity. I think that what he said echoes of my suggestion, and I also fully support his amendment. Mr. Pui-leung urges the government to adopt measures to attract more large-scale central enterprises and SOEs to set up regional headquarters in Hong Kong in order to drive the development of headquarters economy. This can help create a new driver in the development of Northern Metropolis. These are pragmatic suggestions. This is also in line with my suggestions put forward to the government. Mr. Yueheng, Ms. Carmen Kan, and other members with a China capital background, they suggested visiting these enterprises so that we can set up a conference to support Hong Kong's integration into the overall development of the country, so that we can develop headquarters economy. Mr. Chen Kin-po and Mr. Tony Chen and other G19 members mentioned the flow of capital and talents, and that we should attract China capital firms to invest in Hong Kong, take part in our projects, and support our development, as well as the development in the arts, cultural, and sports sector, so that we can give them a stronger role to play. We can foster collaboration and take forward Belt and Road Initiative. Mr. Lai Tong-kwok mentioned setting up a fund so as to have co-investment in the Greater Bay Area. Well, Mr. Yim Kong, you should speak on the amendments. only and not to comment on what other members have said. All right, thank you, President. These are very good ideas. I find the discussion very meaningful, and I fully acknowledge their wisdom. I hope that the government will also attach the same level of importance to their comments. Now, China Capital Enterprises in Hong Kong, they are backed by mainland capital. They are also enterprises in Hong Kong. They are closely related to our stability and prosperity. They only thrive when Hong Kong has prosperity. And this goes both ways. China Capital Enterprises is a stabilizing force and a driver to our economic development. They also actively participate in improving people's livelihood. We look forward to greater collaboration so that with concerted efforts, we can give China Capital Enterprises in Hong Kong a better prospect so that we can scale new heights. Once again, I thank all members for their invaluable views.
Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development. President, I thank Mr. Eric Yim for his motion. I'm very grateful to members for their concern and support for the trade and economic cooperation between Hong Kong and the mainland, and for our efforts to attract firms and investments in the mainland. China capital firms have played a crucial role in Hong Kong's social and economic development and in local residents' lives. Members have shared great insights with us. I now give a consolidated response to members' comments. Many members have proposed stronger efforts to attract firms and investments in the mainland. Hong Kong helps mainland firms go global and bring foreign firms to the mainland. We are a base and a springboard. The National 14th Five-Year Plan, the Greater Bay Area Development, and the Belt and Road Initiative bring opportunities. They are crucial to Hong Kong's appeal to foreign investors. This is a hot topic when Invest Hong Kong holds events and one-on-one meetings. Therefore, Invest Hong Kong will keep working through its global promotion networks to collaborate closely with the relevant trades and stakeholders in actively promoting the National 14th Five-Year Plan, the GBA development, and the Belt and Road Initiative as key national strategies that bring boundless opportunities for Hong Kong. Invest Hong Kong will work through the Pan-Greater Bay Area Inward Investment Liaison Group as it joins forces with the Commercial Office of the Economic Affairs Department of the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, the Commercial Office of the Economic Affairs Department of the LOCPG in the Macau SAR, the Department of Commerce of Guangdong Province, and the Macau Trade and Investment Promotion Institute on promotional plans, materials, events, and sharing best practices to strengthen collaboration and achieve synergy. In September this year, the liaison group secured the attendance of over 500 representatives from well-known European and mainland firms at the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area and Europe Economic and Trade Cooperation Conference in Munich, Germany. The event was a success. In November, the Global Investment Conference in the GBA 2023 was held in Guangzhou, showcasing the latest achievements of the GBA. The conference received strong support from many international businesses and resulted in nearly 860 investment and trade deals with a total value of 2.24 trillion yuan. To seize the opportunities from the GBA development, Invest Hong Kong and the Commerce Bureau of Shenzhen will hold events to promote investment through each other's overseas offices in the second half of this year. This is about promoting the GBA development and the partnership of Shenzhen and Hong Kong, bringing out the best in each other to draw foreign investment. Apart from the GBA, Invest Hong Kong also visits other parts of the mainland, including Hangzhou, Lanzhou, Urumqi, Xiamen, Nantong, and Zibo, for investment promotion that showcases Hong Kong's edges in business, an ideal platform for mainland firms to go global. In June and October this year, Invest Hong Kong signed memoranda of understanding with the Commerce Departments of Zhejiang and Jiangsu, respectively, to further strengthen Hong Kong's work with the mainland in attracting firms and investments. Members argued for bringing in more leading firms in biotechnology, fintech, and artificial intelligence, and companies with cutting-edge technology. As Mr. Algernon Yao said in his opening remarks, the government set up the Office for Attracting Strategic Enterprises, or OASIS. So far, we've brought in 30 firms or so. They are Huawei, AstraZeneca, Lenovo, Meituan. These are industry leaders. They will invest $30 billion and create roughly 10,000 jobs in Hong Kong. Among the first batch of key firms that come here, 80% are mainland companies in life and health sciences, artificial intelligence and data science, fintech, advanced manufacturing, and new energy technology. Those are the 4 strategic industries. This shows the full confidence top-notch mainland firms across sectors have in Hong Kong's future. OASIS and relevant government bureaus and departments will actively meet firms' needs while helping more mainland firms with huge potential to come to Hong Kong soon. Members also commented on Mr. Chen Pui-leung's amendment about bringing in more state-owned enterprises and central enterprises to set up regional headquarters. The policy address proposes a headquarters economy. This means attracting more firms to set up headquarters or corporate divisions in Hong Kong. This includes getting more central enterprises and SOEs to come here. To that end, Invest Hong Kong has worked with the SASAC and the NDRF and other mainland commerce departments to encourage them to set up regional headquarters in Hong Kong. We want to play our role as a super connector and super value adder to help the mainland parties explore overseas markets. The FSTB will also work with the mainland authorities to explore ways to facilitate the establishment of corporate headquarters or regional headquarters, and that includes arrangements to foster capital investments. Members also discuss ways to help Hong Kong businesses develop in the mainland as we attract mainland investments. The SAR government has been deepening economic and trade ties with the mainland. It will help industries make the most of the concessionary measures under the closer economic partnership arrangement. The SAR government is also working to further enrich CEPA. Where Hong Kong has an edge, we work towards the goal of further opening of the GBA or the entire mainland market for Hong Kong businesses so as to deepen economic and trade ties. The government fully supports China capital firms in setting up and expanding operations in Hong Kong. The government also values the key role played by these firms in driving Hong Kong's economy. So when it comes to policy making over the economy, industries, and commerce, the government will actively listen to China capital firms' comments. In the 2021 improvement to the electoral system, China capital firms got 17 seats on the election committee. That's an increase from the past. There is now also the commercial third functional constituency. This shows China capital firms play a key role in Hong Kong's status and collaboration with the government, and in Hong Kong's prosperity and stability. This is the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road. Since 2016, annual Belt and Road summits have been held. This year, in September, we held the 8th forum. We saw the attendance of nearly 6,000 representatives from Belt and Road countries and regions, official representatives and business leaders from a dozen countries, and over 100 delegations. We also had delegations from the State-Owned Asset Supervision and Administration Commission of the State Council and also delegations of the central enterprises. They include over 35 leaders from central enterprises involving more than 260 people. This scale is unprecedented. This is where we can work to enhance the soft connectivity in the Belt and Road in collaboration with central enterprises and contribute to high-quality development. This year, at the forum, we set up the Middle East Forum and Finance chapter to help Hong Kong's businesses work with the mainland and overseas businesses. We also set up exchange sessions with Middle Eastern enterprises to encourage Hong Kong businesses to take part as they explored ways to work together. We're pleased to see the active participation of central enterprises as they use Hong Kong as a platform to explore the boundless opportunities of Belt and Road. This forum has become the most critical platform for international trade and commerce for Hong Kong, mainland, and overseas firms. In the year to come, we will continue to expand the breadth and depth of the annual forum as we encourage central enterprises and other mainland firms to take part. In 2024, we will hold the 7th Joint Conference on Advancing Hong Kong's Full Participation in and Contribution to Belt and Road Initiative along with the SASEC and the other mainland authorities. We will also have more joint delegations involving Hong Kong and mainland firms. We will work with the Ministry of Commerce in going global to promote opportunities in the mainland and Hong Kong's professional services in exploring Belt and Road opportunities. The SAR government will fully deepen cooperation with the mainland and drive the economic development of the mainland and Hong Kong. We will contribute to people's well-being, leverage our strength to deliver what our country needs. The principle is about sharing opportunities, pooling strength, and achieving mutual benefits as we further our achievements in our trade and economic cooperations with the mainland. We will promote greater convenience in cross-boundary trade. We will also work through the Beijing-Hong Kong Cooperation Conference, the Shanghai-Hong Kong Cooperation Mechanism, as we promote trade and attract enterprises so that we can achieve mutually beneficial outcomes for both Hong Kong and the mainland. During COVID, mainland firms in Hong Kong were staunch supporters of the SAR government. These firms played key roles. They helped the government fight COVID with the all-round support from the central government. China capital firms helped Hong Kong build mobile cabin hospitals and community isolation facilities quickly. These firms also ensure the supply of fresh food and other necessities at stable prices. These firms took the lead in pledging to do no layoffs and no wage and restored market confidence. This helped Hong Kong move on from COVID, bring back normal life, and return to the center of the global stage. President, under one country, two systems, Hong Kong enjoys national support and global connections. That's our unique strength. We are a gateway for overseas firms to enter the mainland market, and also we help mainland firms go global. We will continue to play the critical role of being a super connector and a super value adder. It will seize the opportunities of the 14th Five-Year Plan, greater GBA development, and Belt and Road. As we integrate into national development, we will tell good stories of Hong Kong and China as we raise our profile in international trade and drive Hong Kong's high-quality development. Since the new term of government started, we took various actions to boost confidence of different firms, especially mainland firms in Hong Kong's business environment. We also promoted Hong Kong's edge to mainland businesses and investors. We have dropped all COVID measures and brought back normal travel with the mainland. This shows normal life is back and we are back at the center stage of the world. Riding their promising momentum, the CEDB, Invest Hong Kong, and Oasis will actively adopt members' comments, perform their respective roles, and work together to redouble efforts to attract firms and investments in the mainland. The goal is to bring more mainland firms here to set up and scale up operations, support and encourage China capital firms to aid Hong Kong's socio-economic development. These firms will foster Hong Kong's integration into national development and also strengthen Hong Kong's status as an international trade and financial center. President, I so submit.
I now call upon Dr. Tan Yueheng to move an amendment. President, I move my amendment. I propose the question to you that Dr. Tan Yueheng's amendment be passed. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by majority of each of the two groups of members present. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Pui-leung, as Dr. Tan Yueheng's amendment has been passed, you may move your further amendment. President, I move my further amendment. I propose the question to you that Mr. Pui-leung's further amendment be passed. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by majority of each of the two groups of members present. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Yim Kong, you have 1 minute 6 seconds to reply. The debate will come to a close. Well, as the saying goes, President, China capital enterprises have weathered the storm with Hong Kong people. They've also shared the fruit of prosperity with Hong Kong people. We will continue to work with Hong Kong people. I'd like to thank the government departments, members in this council. I thank all of you. I urge members to support my motion. I put the question to you. That is the motion as amended by Mr. Champion and Dr. Han Yueheng be passed. Will those in favor please raise your hands? Those against please raise your hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of two groups of members present. I declare the motion passed. The council will be adjourned until the 13th of December.